I want to touch on emotion regulation within the context of relationship and relational dynamics. Now, this can be relationships between partners, it could be relationship between, parent and child, it could be relationships with siblings or extended family members or coworkers and that whole array of human relationship dynamics that can exist. And what I want to touch on is this thing that I heard when I was listening to a podcast of people believing that there's such a thing as staying in a bubble of anger with one another for an extended duration of time. And that's just not a thing. And I know it's because I've studied psychology, I've studied, attachment patterns, I've studied uh, like relationship dynamics from different perspectives within the field of psychology. And one of the things I know is that physiologically speaking, there's no such thing as staying in a bubble of anger for an extended period of time. It's just not a physiological possibility. The way the human nervous system works is you may momentarily experience a spike of cortisol from stress, from experiencing conflict, from not having effective conflict management, conflict resolution skills, which emotion regulation is in part about. But physiologically speaking, that momentary release of cortisol is within a short duration typically managed and regulated back to homeostasis by your body. Breathing brings you back to balance. Exercise, movement brings you back to balance. Sleep brings you back to balance. Hydration brings you back to balance. There are a number of things that, help you reduce the amount of cortisol, which is the stress what experienced when you have stress. You come back into balance naturally. Now, if you have a habit of holding a grudge, if you have habits of, you know, staying in kind of tensions of stress because you don't know how to effectively cognitively and emotionally regulate yourself back into balance, that's something else. But it's not a relationship dynamic where people stay in an angry bubble or anything of that nature for an extended duration. That's just not a thing. And any internal representation you have about relationships unfolding in that way is something I encourage you to explore and release and develop more accurate internal representations of how relational communication unfolds and how relational dynamics unfold over time.